Hey guys, happy 4th of July. So today I am going to be doing my wrap-up video, my June wrap-up video. And so in June I've read 10 books. Technically 11 because one of the books is volume 1, so there's like two books together in one. But anyway, just gonna go through and tell you about the books I read and what I thought about them. Before I get started, I will break this down because I know it's gonna end up being a long video, and I don't want to try and rush everything before my iPad cuts me off. So I'm just gonna split this into two parts, and I'll tell you which books will be in part 1 and part 2. So that way, if there's a particular book you want to hear about, you can skip to that video if you want. So for part 1, for this video, I'm going to talk about Vampire Diaries by L.J. Smith, The Awakening and the Struggle. So this is the volume 1 that has two books in one. Clockwork Angel by Cassandra, Clare. The Ring and the Crown by Melissa de la Cruz. The Iron Witch by Karen Mahoney. And Clockwork Prince by Cassandra Clare. And then for part 2, I'll talk about Midwinter Blood by Marcus Sedgwick. Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Riggs. Luminous by Jasmine Angel. Dead Sworn by Leah Cypress. And Timekeeper by Alexandra Monier. And so, yeah, those are what I'll be talking about. That's the breakdown. So let's get started with the first book. So the first one is Vampire Diaries by L.J. Smith. And this is volume 1, which has The Awakening and the Struggle in it. So it's two books in one. A little bit about why I picked up this book in the first place. I've had this book for a while, but I haven't read it. And a couple months ago was the season finale, I think season 5 finale of Vampire Diaries. And so I've been missing the show a little bit. So I've been watching old seasons on Netflix. And I decided, this seems like a good time to read the book. And so, beginning of June, this was the first book I picked up to read. And this book, I will say, I was disappointed. It annoyed me so much. I gave it 2 out of 5 stars. And the thing with this book is, well, first off, it's about a girl named Elena who meets this guy named Stefan, and he's a vampire. And later on, we're introduced to his brother Damon, who's also a vampire. And pretty much it's sort of this love triangle between Damon, Stefan, and Elena. And the thing about Elena that attracted Stefan and Damon to her in the first place is that she looks exactly like Catherine, who is a vampire that they had fallen in love with about 100 years earlier. And they fought over Catherine, and now, present day, they're sort of doing the same thing, fighting over Elena. So, pretty much that's the gist of the book. And so, I'll start with what I kind of did like. So, what I kind of did like was that the storyline in the book was a little bit different from, well, not a little bit, there was a lot of difference from the show. There was some things that happened in the book that they kept on the show, but there was a lot that was changed. And so going into the story, the book, um, you realize, if you've seen the show, you've realized there's a lot that's different. And so that's what kind of makes it interesting, because you kind of get to see, okay, where is this going to go? What's going to happen? What's going to be done in this story? Now, the main issue I had with this book is I did not like the characters at all. They annoyed me, especially Elena, and she's the main character. I'm like, oh my gosh, she annoyed the heck out of me. A lot of the characters in this book, they're very shallow, very flat, and they're just like, Elena, really all she cared about is popularity and having every guy like her, being able to have any guy she wants. It's pretty much all she cared about, which is very different from the Elena in the show. In the show, she's very down to earth, really nice, really like, she's not like this shallow airhead, like, oh my gosh, I just want to be popular and have every guy drool over me type of thing. So that really annoyed me about the book. And a lot of the characters were similar to that. Her best friends were pretty much that way as well, Bonnie and Meredith, which Meredith's character isn't really in the show. Well, she sort of is, sort of isn't. In the show, they have Caroline as being more of Meredith's character. And in the book, Caroline is, rivals with Elena. They're both competing to be the most popular, the queen bee of the school. So yeah, the characters really, really annoyed me. So that's why I really had issues with this book. And then the other thing that really bugged me was the insta-love. I was like, I think this book invented the term insta-love. Because Stefan pretty much ignores Elena for like the first half of the book. And then like one night he saves her from Tyler, the would-be rapist. And after that they kiss one time, and then Elena is pretty much head over heels in love with Stefan. Like, oh my gosh, now all she can think about is Stefan. All she wants to do is be with Stefan. And I'm just like, seriously? You haven't even found out he's a vampire yet. So, anyway, it just annoyed me. But that was this book. So, next book is Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare. And this is the first book in the Infernal Device trilogy by Cassandra Clare. It's like the prequel to Mortal Instruments. And this one, the main character, Tessa, gets kidnapped at the beginning of the book. And she pretty much has to do what her kidnappers say, because they threaten her brother. They threaten to hurt her brother if she doesn't. And we find out Tessa is a downworlder. We don't know what type yet, but she can shapeshift into other people. But anyway, Will and Jem are introduced there. Will is the one that pretty much comes in and rescues Tessa. they bring her back to the Institute, and they're pretty much just trying to figure out why the kidnappers wanted her in the first place, what was her purpose, what is she, because they're not exactly sure what type of downworlder she is. So yeah, but this book I really, really enjoyed it. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. And Cassandra Clare, I'm just like, I really love her books because there's so much action in the books, and I love books with a lot of action, so I really like that. And her characters are just great. You fall in love with the characters immediately. And there's sort of a twist at the end that I kind of didn't see coming. Like, as far as who was behind this whole thing to start with, I really did not see that coming. I was like, wow, okay. But, yeah, it was a really good book, so definitely read the Infernal Device trilogy. The next book that I read this month is The Ring and the Crown by Melissa de la Cruz. And this one, I've heard it said that it's kind of like Gossip Girl meets Rain meets Titanic meets Revenge. And that's sort of true. I mean, the Gossip Girl, Rain and Titanic part, yeah. Revenge, a little bit, not too much seeing that in here, but this was a really, really great book. I really liked it. This one, there was some issues I had with it though, mainly towards the end, because the ending was, I felt like it was kind of rushed a bit, and at the same time, the end was like, I felt like there was a lot of twists that you find out towards the end. And I like books with a lot of twists, but I felt like they should have been spread out more and revealed more sporadically rather than just all at once. And so that was one thing that I kind of had an issue with. But I did really like the book. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. And so, yeah. This is also the first book in a new series. So I definitely want to continue the series. But just the way it ended, it doesn't seem like it would be a series. Because it wraps up pretty nicely in the end. But I don't know. We'll see where it goes with the next book. But I liked it. The next book I read was The Iron Witch by Karen Mahoney. And this one was the book I picked for my June Book of the Month challenge. And so I have a full review of this book. I will link it down below. You can check that out. But this book was another one that I really didn't enjoy either. I gave it, I think, 2 out of 5 stars. So you can check out the review. I'll link it down below. I know I said I was going to talk about Clockwork Prince in this video as well, but my iPad is about to cut out in 30 seconds, so I will leave Clockwork Prince for part 2. So I will see you guys for part 2 with the rest of the books. Bye!